It was January 22nd, 1943, and James Homeland, a student at Black Hills State Teachers College in Spearfish, South Dakota, was walking a little over a mile to campus. There was gas rationing during the war, so students usually walked to campus. It was reasonably pleasant for winter in the Black Hills of South Dakota. The temperature was around 50 degrees when she started her walk. By the time she arrived on campus, the temperature had plummeted to -4 degrees. Weather can be unpredictable wherever you go, but few places see weather change, like the Black Hills of South Dakota. Essentially an island in the prairie, the Black Hills have peaks that rise over 7,200 feet, but slope down abruptly, dropping to 3,000 feet in the east. They are the highest mountains between the Atlantic Ocean and the Rocky Mountains, and they are therefore particularly susceptible to the weather phenomena called the Chinook winds. Chinook winds are named after Native American people of the Pacific Northwest, and the term Chinook winds originally referred to warming winds from the ocean that blew into the interior. However, the term now generally refers to a phenomenon common on the east side of the Rocky Mountains in Canada. The phenomenon occurs in many places across the globe and has many names. In Europe, for example, these types of winds are called foehn. The general idea is that air blows to a slope, and as it rises up the slope, releases its moisture and compresses, releasing heat into the atmosphere. Then the warm air swoops down the downslope, pulled by gravity, further compressing as it goes. Condensation at the crest of the peak, plus compression as the wind goes downhill, heats the wind. Such winds can cause wide temperature variations and rapid loss of snow, which both melts due to the heat, but also vaporizes or dissipates due to the dryness of the wind. But how much can Chinook winds really change temperature? At 7:32 in the morning on January 22nd, 1943, the recorded temperature in Spearfish, South Dakota was -4 degrees Fahrenheit. At 7:34, 2 minutes later, it was 49 degrees, a change of 53 degrees in 2 minutes. By the time that Jane Holman left for her walk, the temperature had risen to 54 degrees. 27 minutes later, the temperature had dropped back to -4 degrees. Thus, according to the Guinness Book of World Records, Spearfish, South Dakota holds the world record for both the fastest temperature rise and the fastest temperature drop in world history. Across the region, the temperatures were shifting so rapidly that thick frost suddenly appeared on car windshields as people drove. But such massive changes cannot be attributed to Chinook winds alone. According to the National Weather Service, there was much more going on that day, as a fresh bout of cold air disturbed a static front. Extremely cold continental Arctic air was pushing down from Canada, while warmer Pacific air was pushing from the east. The boundary was west of the Black Hills. It was 22 degrees in Casper, Wyoming, and -20 degrees in Rapid City, South Dakota, some 300 miles east and north. The Arctic air was frigid, leading to record cold temperatures, but the warm air was pushing on top of a wedge of cold air, a temperature inversion. As the hills rise above the plains, that means that higher elevations were in the warm air. The two towns of Lead and Deadwood, South Dakota, are so close together that they are often referred to as a single entity, Lead-Deadwood. The downtown areas are only 2 miles apart, but Lead is on the slope of a mountain, and some 800 feet in elevation separates the two towns. At one point, it was 52 degrees in Lead and -12 degrees in Deadwood, 2 miles away. The Weather Service postulates that a bout of new cold air had steepened the cold front. As the front hit the Black Hills, it was disrupted by the terrain. This caused the front to, essentially, slosh back and forth. The cold front would recede, and the warm air would drop down in elevation. Then the cold air would shift back. The Chinook winds, dropping rapidly downslope, merely quickened the pace of the sloshing. The Black Hills was, essentially, an island being washed over by competing tides. Witnesses felt winds so warm that they described them as a blast of hot air, and assumed there must be a fire nearby. The temperature fluctuated wildly all day, as can be seen in this weather chart from Rapid City on the east end of the Black Hills. The changes were so pronounced that at times there was distinctly different weather on one side of a city block from another. Plate glass windows cracked because of the changes. Cars nearly crashed as their windshields instantly froze over. Jane Holman's knees turned blue. But the rumors that it caused trees to explode appears to have been an exaggeration. If you enjoyed this History Guy short, then feel free to click that like button, subscribe to our channel, and check us out on Patreon, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and our merchandise on teespring.com.